Welcome to Shon's Storytime videos for kids every day of the week. Today's story is
Don't Shake the Present by Bill Cotter. Hi, I'm Larry. This is my present. I really want to open it, but I'm not supposed to yet. Maybe we can find out what's inside. Can you knock on the present gently? Can you shake the present a little? Oh no! Now my big present is teeny tiny. Try shaking it up and down. That definitely didn't work. See what happens when you shake it side to side. Too big. Quick, shrink the present with your fingers. Much better. Oops, I accidentally untied part of the bow. If only someone would pull the other end of the ribbon. We're so close. All we have to do is flip this lid. Can you help? Whoa! Boing, doink. Oh, hi, Santa. Sorry I opened my present early. Ho, ho, ho. It's okay, Larry. Your real present is something you're always allowed to open. This book.
She sat on Rooster's birthday cake.
So I hope you like our videos today. Don't forget to subscribe. Share it. A Charlie Brown Christmas.
It's the most magical time of the year. Christmas is coming. The air is crisp and cold. Children are ice skating, and the sound of Christmas carols fills the air. Everyone is in the holiday spirit. Well, almost everyone. I think there must be something wrong with me, Charlie Brown says. Christmas is coming, but I'm not happy. I like getting presents, sending cards, decorating trees and all that, but I always end up feeling sad. Charlie Brown, you're the only person I know who can take a wonderful season like Christmas and turn it into a problem, Linus says. Maybe Lucy's right. Of all the Charlie Browns in the world, you're the Charlie Browniest. Charlie Brown decided to talk to Lucy. She gives really good advice and it only costs 5 cents. I just don't understand Christmas, Charlie Brown tells her. Instead of feeling happy, I feel sort of let down. You need to get involved in a real Christmas project, Lucy advises. How would you like to be the director of our Christmas play? Me? A director? Charlie Brown is surprised at the suggestion. He knows nothing about directing, but it sounds exciting. He agrees to meet Lucy at the school auditorium. On his way to the auditorium, Charlie Brown spots his dog, Snoopy, carrying a box of Christmas ornaments and lights. He watches as Snoopy carefully decorates his doghouse. Snoopy has entered a contest to win money for the best neighborhood Christmas lights and display. My own dog has gone commercial, Charlie Brown groans. I can't stand it. Next, Charlie Brown is stopped by his sister Sally. Will you help me write a letter to Santa Claus, Big Brother? Sally asks. Charlie Brown begins to write down everything Sally says. Dear Santa Claus, Sally starts, how have you been? I have been extra good this year, so I have a long list of presents. But you can make it easy on yourself. Just send money. How about 10s and 20s? Charlie Brown sighs. Good grief. When Charlie Brown finally arrives at the auditorium, the cast is waiting for him. Okay, let's have quiet, he announces. Places, everybody. Action. But no one listens to him. Schroeder starts playing his piano and everyone starts dancing. Nobody cares that Charlie Brown is directing. Nobody cares about the play. They just want to dance. Charlie Brown feels even worse than he did before. This Christmas play is all wrong, he moans. Lucy tries to make him feel better. Everybody knows that Christmas is just the time of the year for people to buy stuff, she says. But Charlie Brown disagrees. This is one play that is going to be different. We need something to set the proper mood. We need a Christmas tree. That's it, Lucy exclaims. We need a Christmas tree. A great, big, shiny aluminum tree. You go get it. You go get the tree, Charlie Brown. I'll take Linus with me, Charlie Brown says. The rest of you can practice your lines. Lucy's excited about the Christmas tree. Get the biggest aluminum tree you can find, she orders. Maybe paint it pink. When Charlie Brown and Linus arrive at the Christmas tree lot, they are surrounded by fake trees. Some are plastic, some are aluminum, some are painted different colors, some even have polka dots. Linus knocks on one of the aluminum trees. Do they still make wooden Christmas trees, he wonders out loud. Meanwhile, Charlie Brown is starting to feel sad again. None of these trees feel right to him. Then Charlie Brown sees it, a teeny weeny green tree. He smiles. This little tree seems to need a home, he says. Linus hesitates. I don't know, Charlie Brown. This doesn't seem to fit the modern spirit. But Charlie Brown suddenly feels better than he has in days. We'll decorate it, and it will be just right for our play. Besides, I think it needs me. He picks up the tree. Needles tinkle as they fall off the scrawny tree, making it even scrawnier. Charlie Brown is still smiling when he returns to the auditorium. He gently places the tree down on Schroeder's piano. We're back, he announces. Everyone rushes over to see the tree. They are shocked and disappointed at Charlie Brown's choice. You were supposed to get a good tree, Lucy declares. You can't even tell a good tree from a poor tree? Everyone agrees. What happens next is the worst of all. Everybody starts to laugh at Charlie Brown and the little tree, even Snoopy. Charlie Brown feels sadder than ever. He turns to Linus. I guess you were right, he says. I shouldn't have picked this little tree. I really don't know what Christmas is all about. He pauses and looks around. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about? He cries. To his surprise, it is Linus who answers. Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. He walks to the center of the stage and says, Lights, please. Somebody dims the lights in the auditorium and puts a single spotlight on Linus. In a clear voice, Linus begins to speak. And there were shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And the angel of the Lord came upon them and said, Fear not, for behold, I bring you tidings of great joy. For unto you is born this day a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, Glory to God, peace on earth, goodwill to men. Everyone is quiet as Linus finishes. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown, he says. Charlie Brown picks up his little tree and steps outside. He looks up at the dark sky full of twinkling stars. He finally feels happy deep down inside, the way Christmas is supposed to make you feel. Linus is right, he says to himself. I'm not going to let everyone else's greed spoil my Christmas. I'll take this little tree home and decorate it and show everyone it really will work in our play. Charlie Brown passes Snoopy's fully decorated doghouse. Snoopy won first prize. He takes a shiny red ornament off the doghouse and hangs it on the little tree. But the ornament is too heavy and the little tree topples over. Charlie Brown is horrified. I've killed it, he cries. Everything I touch gets ruined. He walks away sadly with his head down, leaving the little tree alone. After Charlie Brown leaves, the others find the tree. I never thought it was such a bad little tree, Linus says. He wraps his blanket around the tree's base. It's not bad at all, really. All it needs is a little love. Without saying a word, the other kids began taking the decorations off of Snoopy's doghouse and putting them on the tree. It doesn't take long for them to transform the little tree into something magical. When Charlie Brown returns a few minutes later, he can scarcely believe his eyes. First he looks at Snoopy's bare doghouse, then at the beautiful tree. What's going on here? He asks. Then he looks at his friends, their faces all shining with joy. Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown, they shout, and before Charlie Brown can say another word, they start to sing Christmas carols. Charlie Brown smiles and starts singing with his friends. He knows it is going to be the best Christmas ever.
Welcome to Shon's Storytime videos for kids every day of the week. Today's story is
Don't Shake the Present by Bill Cotter. Hi, I'm Larry. This is my present. I really want to open it, but I'm not supposed to yet. Maybe we can find out what's inside. Can you knock on the present gently? Can you shake the present a little? Oh no! Now my big present is teeny tiny. Try shaking it up and down. That definitely didn't work. See what happens when you shake it side to side. Too big. Quick, shrink the present with your fingers. Much better. Oops, I accidentally untied part of the bow. If only someone would pull the other end of the ribbon. We're so close. All we have to do is flip this lid. Can you help? Whoa! Boing, doink. Oh, hi, Santa. Sorry I opened my present early. Ho, ho, ho. It's okay, Larry. Your real present is something you're always allowed to open. This book.
She sat on Rooster's birthday cake.
I hope you you like our videos today, don't forget to subscribe. Share it, share it, share it. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Every who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why, no one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early, they'd rush for their toys. And then, oh the noise, noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise. Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beef, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing, and they'd stand hand in hand, and the Whos would start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do, the Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat, and he chuckled and clucked, what a great Grinchy trick. With this hat and this coat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer, the Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there were none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up to Max. Then the Grinch said, get up, and the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Whos lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without care when he came to the first little house on the square. This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's Feast. He took the Who Pudding. He took the Roast Beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou Who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side, so I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head and he got her a drink and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 1/4 dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsels, the trimmings, the trappings. "3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Who's, he was grinchiously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two, then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo." "That's a noise," grinned the Grinch, "that I simply must hear." So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, the sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or another, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
Merry Christmas, Peanut.
It was Christmas Day, and Peanut and his parents were on their way to his grandmother's house for dinner. Christmas made Peanut happier than anyone he knew. He was nuts about it, and he couldn't wait to see his grandma. But the ride was taking forever. At first, Peanut thought it was a traffic jam, but then he saw it was a traffic jelly. Peanut wasn't worried though. They still had lots of time to get to his grandma's. Once the car got unstuck, Peanut saw his friend the baker looking very sad, so he asked his parents to stop. "What's wrong?" Peanut asked. "Now I can't make my famous jelly donuts," the baker said. Peanut knew just what to do. "Don't be sad, I'll cheer you up. I'm the Merry Christmas Nut," said Peanut. "Come with us to my grandma's house." The baker hopped right in. But then they got to the bridge, and it was broken. Peanut wasn't worried though. They still had time to get to his grandma's. They walked along the riverbank and found a sailor who could help. As the sailor steered the boat, she seemed unhappy. "What's wrong?" Peanut asked. "I don't have any family nearby to visit for Christmas," she said. Peanut knew just what to do. "Don't be sad, I'll cheer you up. I'm the Merry Christmas Nut," said Peanut. "Come with us to my grandma's house." "That sounds nice," said the sailor, so she parked her boat and joined the group. Once back on land, they had to pass through a forest. Peanut finally started to get worried. There wasn't much time left, and they had to get to his grandmother's for dinner. Then they met a lumberjack who was looking sad. "What's wrong?" said Peanut. "My axe broke while I was chopping down my Christmas tree," he said. Peanut knew just what to do. "Don't be sad, I'll cheer you up. I'm the Merry Christmas Nut," said Peanut very quickly. He was in a rush now, trying to get to his grandma's. But he knew she always had a beautiful Christmas tree, so he invited the lumberjack along. The lumberjack took his lantern and joined the group. As they walked, they laughed and talked, but then it started to snow. Just a few flakes fell at first, but before long, snow had completely hidden the path, the only one that led out of the dark forest. Now Peanut was really worried. There was no time left, and he had to get to his grandmother's house for dinner. "Don't be sad, we'll cheer you up. You're the Merry Christmas Nut," said his parents and friends. But Peanut could not be cheered up, and his parents didn't know what to do. I know, said the baker. I can use my spatula as a shovel. I know, said the sailor. I can use my spyglass to find the road. I know, said the lumberjack. I can use my lantern to light the way. The friends shoveled snow and looked for the road and lit the way, and they finally found the path again. But they needed to move faster. They were going to be late for dinner and there was so much snow. Peanut had an idea. We need to make snow angels. I know you're the Merry Christmas nut, said the lumberjack, but snow angels? Now? Trust me, said Peanut. So each of them lay down and moved the snow with their arms and legs, which uncovered the path below. Everyone was so excited. We aren't sad. You cheered us up. You're the Merry Christmas nut, said Peanut's friends. Smiling, Peanut led his friends and his parents to his grandmother's for dinner. Merry Christmas, Peanut, Grandma said as she opened the door. Merry Christmas, Grandma, Peanut said. It's been quite a day. Peanut introduced his new friends to her, and everyone sat down to a huge Christmas dinner with jelly donuts for dessert. The baker had donuts, the sailor had a family, and the lumberjack had a beautiful, beautiful Christmas tree. Everyone was happy. Except Grandma, who was worried that some of her guests might have to leave early because it was snowing again. But Peanut knew just what to do. Don't be sad, I'll cheer you up. I'm the Merry Christmas nut, Peanut said. And so he asked his friends if they would like to stay the night. Of course everyone stayed, wouldn't you? And they stayed and played the next day too. She sat on Rooster's birthday cake. Oh no!
I hope you like our videos today. Don't forget to subscribe, share it,